Hello. If you've followed Flat Earth for some time, you should eventually conclude, as I have, that Flat Earthers are not interested in facts. While the final experiment crew were still gathering video evidence for a 24-hour sun on December 15th, I wanted to add to that with my own. The flight that took them to Antarctica, as it was made available on FlightRadar24, ostensibly showed them leave South America and land in Antarctica. MCToon stated he was going to record the flight, and with the expectation it would eventually be released, one of the goals for making my own, apart from riding the hype wave, was to eventually match the data provided against the real-time flight video recordings when published. This alone would not definitively prove that the flight in question happened on that day, but the goal was to show that the telemetry data provided by FlightRadar24 when simulated in Google Earth would match the real-time video recordings, and that they did indeed travel to Antarctica. All I had was what was available to anyone and everyone. After scraping the data from FlightRadar24 the following day, a KML file was quickly made and I recorded and published a flyover simulation video using Google Earth. On January 3rd, after returning home, MCToon published the full 5-hour-long video chronicling the trip from the time they checked into the ALE terminal to the point when they landed at Union Glacier and made their way to the camp. Recently, MCToon republished the video on his Conspiracy Toons channel, and I was reminded to compare his video recording with my Google Earth simulation. My original video, which is still available to show the date it was first published, when compared to the flight, as shown as a picture-in-picture, highlights the consistency between published flight path data and first-hand witness recordings. I did my best to synchronize them, but squeezing a 4-hour-long flight into 10 minutes with much of the telemetry missing or interpolated due to portions of the ocean or unpopulated regions in Antarctica caused some minor discrepancies between the two. Nevertheless, the outcry from the fact-denying flat earthers that the data provided on sites like FlightRadar24 is somehow fake or doesn't match precisely is extremely weak and at this point pitiful. So without any more fanfare, I present my virtual flight once more, compared to the actual flight that was taken, flight ICE1087 on December 14th, 2024. I don't know why Flat Earth has left me and probably most of us jaded about certain segments of society, or have become extremely skeptical that an expedition like that would convince the target audience, but it was a foregone conclusion long before it started that the true believers would refuse to accept the trip as genuine, no matter how well it was executed. If they are shown footage from one camera, they will claim it was faked. If they are shown a second camera footage recording the first, they would still say it's fake. TFE had 8 Or was it 9 cameras? 3 of them were 360-degree cameras, and every one captured all the same events at the same time. And still, some flat earthers think the entire thing was faked. How many cameras are needed, and what is needed to show authenticity? Several did live streams in Punta Arenas before the trip, recorded the trip to Antarctica, and did more live streams at Union Glacier. You'd think that would be enough to show that the trip was genuine, but it would seem somehow that pigs really can fly after all. Even now, some of them want to see the original boarding pass because they still think the trip was somehow faked. I published my first video on December 15th. MCToon published his video on January 3rd. This is the second part and compares the 2 previously published videos. They were independent of each other, and if the trip was somehow faked, the powers that be who let them go to Antarctica really did a good job of hiding any deception they might have employed. I don't know about you, but if you compare the documented footage of a flight that was taken against a simulated flight from published data, the two seem to match fairly well with each other. And that tells me that the flight really took place and matches very well the data that was provided by sites like FlightRadar24. That's going to be it for now. Thank you for watching. And as always, you know what to do.